This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Well, 2002, 50 Cent got signed to Eminem and Dre, okay? And that was shocking to a lot of people in the industry because nobody was touching 50 Cent. He was kind of blackballed. He had been shot 9 times. He had a big buzz in the street from mixtapes and the How to Rob song that came out after Columbia. I think they dropped him in 2000 or 2001. Because he had dropped some songs and it just didn't work out. So they dropped him. And some people were interested in signing 50 Cent like Clue was and everything, but they couldn't get the label to back it. Eminem and Dre took the chance. They liked his music. Now, you kind of got a taste of what he was going to do because he dropped a mixtape right before he got signed. He dropped a mixtape called Guess Who's Back through really Lansby, but it's called Full Clip because they put out it through another label, and that did numbers. I mean, the sales were crazy just on the mixtape because of the hype from just being signed to Eminem and everything. I think it sold like almost 500,000 copies in the U.S. Crazy until it got removed by Jimmy Iovine. But anyways, Jay-Z took notice to this, and he warned his label mates. Mainly, obviously, he didn't warn Cam and them, okay? But, Beans, Bleak, Freeway, he warned them all that, hey, 50 Cent's gearing up to drop his album next year with Eminem and Dre. I think Wanksta might have been out at that time because it was part of the Eminem soundtrack. And it was, he knew that a tidal wave was coming. Interscope was going to put the building behind him because Eminem was co-signing, Dre was co-signing, and 50 Cent had that street credibility. He was shot 9 times. There was no question about it. And Jay-Z said this.
People let opportunities go. Why aren't you doing this? If I had that, I'll be doing this. Think about it just in strategic moves. Have it, and you're about to have it, and what happens in the studio and Bleak, Beans, everybody was in there, and I was like, man, I'm telling you, man, y'all got a chance right now. Just flood it, put out a lot of music because 50 Cent is coming. 4 months later, in the club hit, and it was over, and it was just like, okay, now everybody got
so Jay-Z warned him because you don't want to go into the market with him spending all that money. Now, Jay-Z wasn't really worried about himself. I mean, around that time, I think he threw out the Black album came out around that time. Blueprint 2.1 right after that, best Unfinished Business. But 2003, he still dropped the Black album because it's Jay-Z. He's still one of the top rappers, and people are still going to buy his album. But he was more worried about Bleak and Beanie Siegel dropping before 50 came because you want to get as much music out there to ride the wave. You don't want to go out there competing with 50. It's going to be wasted ad dollars. That's why nobody dropped when Drake and Kanye dropped that week. Nobody's dropping because you're going to be just forgotten that week. In the next 4 weeks, then notice everybody's giving it about 3 to 4 weeks. Like Young Thug's not even dropping till 4 weeks after. And he's going to ride that wave. It's smart. He's on both albums. He's going to ride the wave. Meek Mill's not even dropping until next month, 4 weeks, because they have bought all the advertising and all the attention is focused on them. I mean, 50 Cent's campaign was crazy. He had a free DVD coming with XXL, which was a huge magazine back then. He had the Wanksta thing out. He had all these interviews out. He had a DVD out called, besides the one that came free with XXL, I forget what the DVD was called. It was done by Game Records, and that was a big DVD, and he was a main person on it. He had the Woo Kid mixtapes out. Everybody was curious about 50 Cent and what he was going to do, and the Wanksta was taking over. Then he dropped In the Club before, and it was over. Everybody was focused on 50 Cent. It took over the radio, everything, and you forgot about anything else that was dropping. People were just focused on him. He had the white kids. He had the suburbs because of Eminem. And he also had the hood because it was him. And, Dre, he had the West Coast. He had it on lock. And you got to seize the moment. What Dre's saying here is that, what Jay-Z's saying here is that you got to seize the moment. If you see something coming, you got to move strategically around that and make your money work the best for you. And also, don't let people forget you. These guys could have flooded the market and nobody would forget. You know, it's like they didn't. A lot of artists are lazy, you know, and they don't have the business and the creative side. And you know, Jay-Z warned them. Jay-Z flooded it before and after. You know, he just, but it's Jay-Z. You know, it's different. You got to always seize a moment and take advantage of a moment. The Young Thug's taking advantage of a moment of being on Drake and Kanye's albums, dropping 4 weeks later. He probably put that album together immediately. Always look for moments and work on strategy. You don't want to go out when the biggest person's out. You don't want to like be overshadowed by anybody. You want to stand out. So just, you know, take that as advice for your own life. Just seize the moment, look at the landscape, and move strategically. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. I'll check you guys in the next one. Smash that like button. Peace.